Alright, today's video lesson is Chapter 3, Lesson 5. We're going to add and subtract negative fractions. So we've been adding and subtracting negative whole numbers. Now we're going to do fractions. We're also going to do some mixed numbers. Let's look at these 5 questions that I've got. Let's go through each question and say, should I really add or really subtract? We're going to do that for each question. So I see 1 minus, that means I really subtract. I see 1 minus, that means I really subtract. I see 2 minuses, that means I really add. I see 1 minus, so I subtract. I see 2 minuses, so I add. Then think bigger. Negative 7 is bigger than 2, and 7 is negative. 3 is bigger than 5. 3 is bigger than 1. 6 is bigger than 2. 6 is bigger than 1. 8 is 8 is bigger than 4. So now we're going to get the final answers. We said we were going to subtract. That gives me a 5/11. We said the 7 was bigger, and the 7 is negative. We said we were going to subtract. 3 minus 1 is 2. 2/5, and we said the bigger guy was negative. We told ourselves to add these, so I get 8/13. Bigger guy is negative. When I'm doing this, the negative can go on the top by the 8, on the bottom by the 13, or dead center, so top, bottom, or middle. Next question, I'm going to subtract. 6 minus 1 is 5. 5/10, I say that it's negative. Sometimes you have to simplify. So sometimes you're not done, you have to simplify. That becomes negative 1/2. This last question, we told ourselves we were going to add. So 4 plus 8 is 12. We said it was going to be negative. We can't leave it improper. So 9 goes into 12 once with 3 left over. It's still negative. The negative didn't go anywhere. Now we have to simplify. 1 1/3. So ask yourself, do you really add or subtract? Ask yourself, who's bigger? Come over here and do it. Sometimes you have to simplify. Sometimes you have an improper fraction that you have to make a mixed number and simplify. Pause the video and try these questions. Okay, check your answers, see if they match mine. First question, we added 9 and 7 to get 16. It's negative because the bigger stuff is negative. Improper, so I make it mixed, and I simplify. I see 1 minus, so I subtract and get a 2. It's negative because 3 is bigger. Negative 2/8, simplify to negative 1/4. I see 1 negative, so I subtract. 7 is bigger. Oh, shoot, I put negatives bigger. Positive stuff is bigger. I did have the right answer, but I had that the positive, it was wrong. Okay, so I'm going to subtract the 7 and the 1 to get a 6. The positive stuff is bigger, so it's positive 6/10. Simplify to 3/5. All right, so we have 2 questions with mixed numbers. Negative 2 4/5 minus 7 3/5. Negative 2 4/5 plus 7 3/5. So the book is going to write them sideways. They just always do. They write them sideways. But I don't like writing them sideways to work it out. So I come down here and I do scratch work. I see 2 negatives, so I add them. And I don't know why, but I like to put the bigger stuff on top. 2 4/5 on bottom, and I'm adding the digits. So I'm going to put a plus sign over here because this is my scratch work. 3/5 and 4/5 make 7/5. Remember when you did mixed numbers, if you got an improper fraction there, we have to change it to 1 2/5. Then we take that 1 and we take it over to the whole column, whole numbers column. 7 and 2 is 9, but that extra one makes 10. 10 2/5. Then I go back up, and I like to look at it sideways when I figure out my bigger number. So 7 is bigger, 7 is negative. Final answer is negative 10 2/5. Okay, this question is written sideways. That's great, but I don't want to work it out. I don't want to do my scratch work sideways. 1 minus means I'm subtracting. I have to put the bigger stuff on top. That's why when I was adding, I like to put the bigger stuff on top, but when I'm subtracting, I have to. So I have to put the 7 on top of the 2. 3/5 minus 4/5, I can't do that. So we go and borrow. The 7 turns into a 6. See if you can think about what the 3 is going to turn into before I say it. The 3 turns into an 8. An 8. Here's why. The thing I just cut up, I turn it into 5/5. 3/5 and 5/5 is equal to 8/5. Most people don't write all this. They just add these two together. Numerator, denominator makes 8. Don't put a 1 in front of it, making it 13. That's how you do whole numbers when you're borrowing whole numbers. When you're borrowing in fractions, the procedure is to add the numerator and denominator, or you can come over here and add 5/5. 3/5, 5/5 makes 8/5. Now I can do 8 minus 4, and I can do 6 minus 2. I come back up here to my sideways and I see that it's positive, so my answer is positive. Pause, try these by yourself, and then push play. All right, look and see what I got. Does it match your answers? 1 minus means I'm really subtracting, so I put the bigger stuff on top. 3 minus 1, I did not have to borrow. I can do that. I can do 3 minus 1. 3 minus 1 is 2, 2/7. This makes 2. I go back up to my sideways one to see who's bigger. 14 is bigger. Final answer is negative. Over here, I see 1 minus, so I'm really subtracting. Put the bigger stuff on top. I cannot do 1 minus 3, so I have to borrow from the 9. The 1 turned into a 5. Why? Because we're adding the numerator and denominator. It's also because we're adding 4/4, which makes 5/4. And then I can do 5 minus 3, which is 2. 8 minus 5, which is 3. I knew that my 2/4 was going to be simplified. I came up here to my sideways question to say who's bigger. 9 is bigger and 9 is negative. Final answer is negative. All right, the next part of your homework will have questions that say evaluate each expression if A is equal to this, B is equal to this, and C is equal to this. Then they're going to give you a math problem. So maybe they say C minus A. Maybe they do C minus B. Maybe they do B minus C, B plus C. But they'll give you a math question. So let's try A minus C. So instead of A, I'm going to write 1/9. And instead of C, I'm going to write 4/9. Subtraction sign. I don't need to write this up and down because it's just a fraction. I like writing mixed numbers up and down, but fractions I don't. 1 minus 4 is -3. -3/9. I simplify to -1/3. You try C plus B. You try an adding question. C plus B. Pause it. See what you get. Your answer should have been 1 and 2/9. I sub in 4/9 for C and 7/9 for B. 4 plus 7 is 11. 11/9 turns into 1 and 2/9. All right, you're also going to have questions that look like these pink ones. M over 7 plus 3m over 7. Well, we know when we're adding, the denominator doesn't change. It stays a 7. This is like having a 1. 1 plus 3 is 4. Final answer is 4m over 7. Can I simplify 4/7? No, I can't. Let's go to this next one. 9 is the denominator. 2x's plus 4x's, what does that make? 6x's. Can I simplify the 6/9 part of this? Yeah, I can simplify that. So it turns into 2x over 3. Pause the video, try these purple ones, and then push play.